Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening show as usual with your host Ram. And well, we have three matches happening because one is we have the first. So what I'm going to do today, I'm not going to give a report. I'm just going to give a cricket update, but probably touch on the salient features of the game. And I'm going to start off. We have three matches, as I said. One is India versus Pakistan, where Pakistan have actually wrapped up the series, the one-day series, 2-0 right now. Sri Lanka and Australia. Yesterday was the first day's play where Australia definitely took the honours, and New Zealand, South Africa, where New Zealand are fighting against South Africa at the Table Mountain, that is Newlands in Cape Town. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with the first day's play in the Vaughan Muralidharan Trophy, which was the final test match which is happening between Sri Lanka and Australia, where Australia actually what they did is they won the toss and actually put Sri Lanka into bat. In fact, it was a greenish tinge pitch, so Michael Clarke, the Australian captain, decided to go with four-pronged pace attack: Mitchell Starc, Jackson Bird, Peter Siddle, and Mitchell Johnson. Well, as far as Sri Lanka were concerned, as I said, I'm not going to go into the total details because I have to talk about three matches. So, as at stumps on day one, Sri Lanka were 294 all out. As far as Sri Lankan innings were concerned, they didn't have a good start. Karnaratne was an early victim of Jackson Bird. For them, Jayawardene actually the captain played a very good innings of 72 with 12 fours and 1 6. Dilshan contributed 34 with 5 boundaries, but Lahiru thirmanne, in fact Jayawardene and Lahiru thirmanne were the ones who actually they were in trouble at 72 for 2 when Dilshan departed. After that, it was Mahela Jayawardene who actually tried to stitch together a partnership first with Dilshan and then with Lahiru thirmanne. Lahiru thirmanne, let me tell you, it was a very, very good knock under the circumstances because he made 91 runs. He missed his century, caught brilliantly by David Warner, a ball which was trying to hit it square of cover, but David Warner took a brilliant catch, I thought, of the bowling of Nathan Law in the right arm offie. 91 runs was his contribution, but I would say that the 91 runs contribution was very, very important, very vital, and considering that Lahiru thirmanne has not had much time to acclimatise to the Australian conditions, I thought that was a very, very good knock from Lahiru thirmanne. 91 runs, he very, very unlucky, he missed his century because of the brilliant catch by David Warner and the covers, and 91 with 13 fours and 1 6 in the first match that he is playing in Australia. So that has to be really, really very, very commendable effort. And what was good about Lahiru thirmanne's batting was his driving was very, very good. One was getting glimpses of Kumar Sangakkara there with the way he used to really drive the head right down and the foot to the pitch of the ball and beautifully driving. And he was also pulling well. And Mahela Jayawardene, well, he played his characteristic leg side strokes like the flick of the legs and all the other shots, and he contributed 72. But Lahiru thirmanne was the knock which really enabled Sri Lanka to make 294. Samaravira was gone for 12. Angelo Matthews contributed only 15 runs. Dinesh Chandimal tried because he lost, he didn't get any support from the tailenders, as Prasad was dismissed for 2, Herat was out for 5, Lakmal was out for 5, and then Dinesh Chandimal was the only one, the last one. In fact, he was the one who tried to play his strokes because he was running out of partners, and rightly so. And Chandimal contributed 24 with 5 boundaries, with Sri Lanka 294 all out, and that was stumps on day one of the third test match. As you know, Mahela Jayawardene is playing his last test as captain. Michael Hussey was the one who actually led the side. As you know, he's retiring from international cricket, so he was the one who actually led the side out yesterday. And they also had a sort of a message for Tony Greig, the departed, the late Tony Greig. All the commentators from Channel 9, they all assembled and they stood, they wore black armbands and stood silently for a great commentator, Tony Greig, who passed away. 294 all out. Well, as far as the bowling figures were concerned, Mitchell Starc got 19 overs, no maiden, 71 runs and 3 wickets. He bowled well. Jackson Bird, as I said, was very, very impressive with his bowling. He was swinging the ball both ways. 19.4 overs, 10 maidens, 41 runs and 4 wickets. Peter Siddle, 15 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 46, bowled well. Mitchell Johnson was wicketless, 13 overs, 1 maiden, none for 58. Nathan Lyon 19 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 69, and Michael Hussey 2 overs, 1 maiden, 1 run, and no wicket. Now, as far as this innings was concerned, as I said, it was a greenish tinge pitch, definitely aided the seamers, but I thought that Australia could have done better in probably restricting Sri Lanka to a much lower score. But I would say that the bowling was not really absolutely on target. There were a sort of a lot of I think the fielding effort was not so good. Some catches were dropped, and the bowling probably could have done much better than what they did, and probably they could have restricted. And also, one more good thing to talk about here is that when we saw Nathan Lyon, who was tossing the ball and flighting the ball, we just saw some signs of turn, and that would have definitely made Rangana Herath really happy, because it would be very interesting to see, because it is Australia who would be batting last on this pitch. But well, it all depends on right now it's very early to say. One has to see how Australia face up and put up a big score on the board, because 294 probably could consider to be a good score probably on this pitch. 294 all out Sri Lanka. That is as far as day one is concerned. Now I'm going to take you to the next match, and that would be the one-day international between Pakistan and India, which was played at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. And today was the second one-day international. It was a must-win game for India, but India lost the game. In fact, Pakistan won the game in a handsome fashion by beating India by 85 runs and actually wrapping up the series 2-0 with one more to go, which probably India would play only for consolation. So Pakistan won this bilateral series against India after a gap of 3 years. As far as Pakistan were concerned, in fact, it was a very good. In fact, I thought it was a very good toss to win for India, because Mahendra Singh Dhoni of India won the toss, and in fact he inserted Pakistan in, and rightly so, because there were a lot of overcast conditions, some slight rain too. So definitely it would have aided the seamers. But let me tell you, the Indian seamers could not produce anything that Pakistan produced in the first one day, with Junaid Khan and Mohammad Irfan really swinging the ball and making the really rattling the timber of the Indians. But as far as the Indian bowling was concerned, well, I would say they were not really on the mark, even though the conditions were absolutely favourable. I thought the Indian pace bowlers, Bhuvnesh Kumar, 9 overs, no maiden, 1 for 61. Dinda, 7 overs, no maiden, none for 42. Ishant Sharma was the only pick of the lot, 9.3 overs, no maiden, 3 for 34. But other than that, because one thought that probably India would be making very quick inroads, but it was not to be. The opener Nasir, Jamshed and Mohammad Hafiz, the captain, put on 141 for the first wicket, with Mohammad Hafiz's contribution being 76 of 74 balls with 10 fours. But the person who really did it big was Nasir Jamshed, once again scoring his second consecutive century against India and his third against India in one-day internationals. And Nasir Jamshed played a very good knock, and this was a much better knock than the first one-day international where he made a century. And this knock was very good. He made 106 of 124 balls with 12 fours and 2 sixes, and this partnership was the one which enabled Pakistan to I would say after making 141 for no loss for the first wicket, they lost the first wicket with Ravindra Jadeja actually breaking this partnership by getting the wicket of Mohammad Hafiz. But what I would like to tell you is Pakistan scored only 250 runs. So basically they lost their way after the opening partnership. 141 for 1 in the 23rd over, not even the halfway mark. One would have expected Pakistan to score in excess of 300 runs, but it was not to be, because basically the Indian bowlers did well, and it was not easy to score strokes as the ball became old. And the ball was a bit gripping there, and that's what the spinners did. And after that, there was not much to really talk about. Azhar Ali was out for 2. Yunis Khan made only 10 runs. Misbah-ul Haq was out for 2. Shoaib Malik made 24 of 30 balls with 2 fours. Kamran Akmal was out for a blob. Umar Gul made 17 of as many balls with 1 4 and 1 6. Saeed Ajmal got a duck. Junaid Khan was not out or not. And Mohammad Irfan was not out. It was a clean ball by Ishant Sharma for a duck. As far as the bowling figures, as I told you, I've already spoken about the pace bowlers. India couldn't really take any advantage of the helpful conditions that were given, and they really paid for it. But I thought the Indian bowlers definitely did well to restrict Pakistan to 250. But even though they restricted, that score was enough for Pakistan to actually bowl out India for 165. Ashwin 10 overs 1 for 49, Raina 2 overs 1 for 13, Ravindra Jadeja 10 overs 1 maiden 3 for 41 for him, and 1 over for 10 runs for Yuvraj Singh. As far as India were concerned, well, let me tell you, it was some brilliant swing bowling from Junaid Khan and Irfan Khan. Irfan Khan with his bounce and Junaid Khan with his swing bowling. I would first talk about the bowlers for Pakistan. Mohammad Irfan with his bowls, 10 overs no maiden, none for 46. India were all out for 165 through a very, very good bowling effort by the Pakistani bowlers. Junaid Khan was very, very impressive. He continues to be very impressive and continues to be a sort of a real weapon for Pakistan here. Junaid Khan with his left arm swing bowling, 9 overs 1 maiden 3 for 39. Umar Gul 7 overs 2 for 24, bowled excellently I thought, and Mohammad Hafiz 10 overs 1 for 29 for him. Saeed Ajmal was excellent, 10 overs 1 maiden 20 runs and 3 wickets, and Malik bowled 2 overs 1 maiden 3 runs and 1 wicket. For India, 165 all out. The highest scorer was Mahendra Singh Dhoni with 54 of 89 balls with 4 fours and 1 6. Virendra Sehwag contributed 31. He was the second highest with 43 balls, but he was out without moving his feet, as was LBW bowled Umar Gul. And other than that, as I said, I can only make a cricket update. Gambhir made 11, Yuvraj Singh was out for 9, Suresh Raina 18, and there was not much to really talk about. The Indian innings really folded away. There was no response. The pressure started building on the Indians, with India 165 all out. Nasir Jamshed man of the match, and the match was won by Pakistan very handsomely by 85 runs, taking a 2-0 lead, winning lead in the series, and already they have wrapped up the series. So that will be great news for Pakistan, and I'm told there's already fireworks in Pakistan after this particular match was over. Now, quickly, I'm going to give you a live update, quick update on stumps on day 2 in the Sunfoil test between South Africa and New Zealand at Cape Town, where South Africa, one thought probably they will go to a huge score, but not actually. Graham Smith decided that he will declare the innings close at 347 for 8. Alvaro Peterson was out to his overnight score of 106 with 11 fours and 1 6. There was contribution from A.B. de Villiers, who made 67 with 8 fours, 15 from Duplessis. Dean Elgar didn't have a good debut, a good match at all. He continued to struggle and made 21 with 2 boundaries, 347 for 8 when Graham Smith declared the innings closed. And actually it was, looking at the bowling, 3 for 78 for Trent Boult and 3 wickets to Chris Martin too. As far as New Zealand were concerned, they finished at stumps at 169 for 4, with Martin Guptill being an early victim for a duck. Brendan McCullum contribution was 51 with 7 boundaries. Williamson made 15, but Dean Brownlee really held the innings together and played a wonderful, very strokeful innings of an unbeaten 69 of just 89 deliveries, 12 fours in that knock. It was very good to see Dean Brownlee unveil his strokes. Daniel Flynn was out for 14, and Brian Watling was not out on 10. So at stumps on day 2, 133 runs are separating New Zealand from making South Africa bat again, and they are 169 for 4 at close of play. As I said, Dean Brownlee with a stroke-filled innings of 69 not out of 12 with 12 fours at the crease, and Brian Watling was not out on 10 when stumps were drawn for the day. 169 for 4, 133 runs behind, and also there is a lot of unevenness in the pitch. There is some bounce in the pitch. So it is going to be very difficult for New Zealand probably to save this match. But they are doing well. They are trying to fight it out at 169 for 4. Today, Vernon Philander was wicketless, 13 overs 5 maidens, none for 53. 14 overs 2 maidens, 1 for 38. Dale Steyn bowled was the best of the lot. 12 overs 4 maidens, none for 29 for Moni Markel. Callis 6 overs 1 maiden, 2 for 19. And 7 overs 2 maidens, 1 for 21. Well, as I said, today there were 3 matches. I had to give a quick cricket update. So that's the precise reason I couldn't go into the details, but I did what I could do best. Thanks for your company, and thanks for watching Cricket Happenings. I'll be back with Cricket Happenings show tomorrow with the probably the outcome on the New Zealand South Africa match, and also the second day's play between Sri Lanka and Australia, which will be played today at the SCG, where probably it will be good to see how Australia do against the Sri Lankan bowlers. That's it from me, your host Ram, for the cricket show for today. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.